Eastern time, if my math is correct. So let's go ahead and get going here. So welcome back, everybody, to another Secure IT 360 webinar. My name is Daniel Perkins. I'm a Senior Information Security Officer here at Secure IT 360. I'll be your host today and presenter as we go through some topics around AI. Between IT and security, I've been doing this for a little over 25 years, plus or minus or so. And with that amount of time, I've definitely broke a thing or two in my day, and I've definitely fixed a thing or two in my day. And of course, implementing new system solutions, ideas like AI, that would fall in there too. Of course, AI is a little new for what we're seeing today, so we're going to talk through that. So today, the topic is somewhat centered around should I allow AI? And if you're reading ahead with that spoiler alert, you can see that you're going to use AI really whether you like it or not. And we're going to see what that means and how that looks. So it's important that we come up with a game plan, a strategy, a playbook, if you will, on how we're going to ensure that we understand the risks to our business, our companies, the data that we're entrusted with. So we have a good plan of action to enable AI safely and securely in our environment. So our agenda for today, like I said, we're going to talk about the if. It's not so much a when and how. It's more of a if this is going to happen. It's not so much can I or can I not. You're going to get AI really whether you like it or not. We're going to talk about some general AI risks. We're going to talk about building a team and a plan. And I've got some ideas for some more resources, frameworks you can look at. So my goal today is to really move you away maybe from a FUD position, right? That fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I want to move you away from that and give you kind of a plan or a strategy at a high level of how you can move forward to have confidence that you know how to identify the types of risks that come with AI and how to mitigate and manage some of those risks. Now, today I also expect you to hear some things that are probably old things you've heard before, but perhaps you're going to hear some new things as we go through the content today. I'm hopeful that you will get maybe one or two takeaways from the ideas presented today, and I'll try to call those out as we go through. And I want to encourage you to move from a no AI position to yes, we can do AI if we do these things. So we want to move from that no position of no AI to yes, we can if, and that's going to enable your business to really leverage this technology of AI in a way that'll make you and your customers and clients successful. So, like I said, it's not an if, but it's a when and how are we going to get AI. So whether we like it or not, many of the tools that we use on a regular or everyday basis, they're seen to be getting some sort of AI component or artificial intelligence, whatever they might call it in their environment. Now, certainly we've seen with Microsoft, right? They are a significant partner to OpenAI, and OpenAI is certainly one of the leaders in this AI revolution, industrial revolution, whatever you want to call it. With Copilot, users can do all kinds of work with AI. And this can be with or without access to our data, right? We can just use it as it is, as its own platform, but certainly we can connect it into our data as well. And just recently, OpenAI, they added some functionality to their tool where from a personal perspective, we can do some automation, right? Booking reservations. This AI assistant will allow us to order groceries, right? And take care of all the work for us, which is fantastic. I think it could be a great time saver. Now, another platform or service that we've seen leverage some AI models is GitHub, right? Something that a lot of our development teams use to code applications, build new product solutions for our customers and clients. With these AI coding assistants, coding's getting faster. We're seeing less errors in our code as we're developing because the AI assistant is looking out for errors and getting things to a ready-to-market state a bit faster, right? Getting that iteration of software development done quicker and faster with AI. Now, certainly Salesforce is another one where they're adding AI components to their platform. This can improve your CRM responses, your sales funnels, getting predictions and forecasts on how to engage with your clients or customers. This is another place where we see AI coming in. Oracle, another brand that we're probably all familiar with. Maybe we don't use Oracle directly. Maybe we use one of their subproducts like NetSuite, right? They're putting AI models in there for the same thing, right? The goal is to get a better forecasting, a better picture of your business, looking at sales and revenues and costs and manufacturing, and the list goes on. Google, certainly no exception too, where they've got Gemini, an AI assistant These tools help Google users do a variety of tasks similar to other platforms. And of course, last but not least, we've got Apple, right? They've added Apple Intelligence to their existing assistant, just like Google has. And again, it's there to enable a better experience, get things done faster, better, smarter. So with this too, a lot of these we're not necessarily getting the choice to opt in or opt out of AI. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is because we're not getting that choice to opt in, it's just kind of coming by default with whatever application service website that we're using. We're kind of scratching our head, like, how do we deal with these new features? How do we protect the data that we've been entrusted with? And that's what we're going to talk about today, is some ideas around how to do that. Now, before we get too far going into this, I think it's good to kind of frame out what types of AI is out there. So I want to take a look at this, and this will help us get a better plan of the actual impact to our business. There's a lot of uncertainty into what these AI models can do. And I hope we can do this breakdown or definition of some of the different AI models to really get a better understanding of what their functionality might be at a high level. So I searched for, what is the definition of AI models? And I got this kind of framework back. So the first category here we're going to look at is capability based, right? And it's broken down into three with narrow, right? This is what they call weak AI, and it's designed to perform a specific task, maybe a narrow range of tasks, something like Siri or Alexa that's giving you recommendations based on what it sees in user behavior. Now, a general or strong AI, that's got the ability to understand, learn, and apply knowledge from a variety of tasks. It's almost human-like intelligence, or could be human-like intelligence. And the next category here is super intelligent, beyond human, right? Something that can really outperform, outthink us as humans. Now, the next category here is functionality based, right? There's 4 levels here where we see reactive, where it's responding to inputs, right? Maybe this is something like a chess playing computer, right? Where it's taking inputs that we give it, it's reacting and responding to those inputs. The next might be limited memory, right? Where it's learning from past experience and making decisions based on what it's seen or done in the past to take some sort of action or make a decision. Self-driving cars is a great example of this, where they learn from prior trips to improve their navigation. Now, the next one here is theory of mind, right? This is where we start to see human-like emotions, beliefs, where they can read into how we're interacting with these robots and make it a more natural experience as though we're talking to a human and not some AI. The next one here is self-aware consciousness, right? This is really, human-like consciousness, where the AI is self-aware, it can make decisions on its own, understands its existence. So, very high level of functionality there. Now, the next category here is based on application. This is probably something we're maybe a little more familiar with, where we think about machine learning, right? Machine learning, there's really nothing new. We've been doing machine learning for decades with our applications. But really, when we think about AI, this is where it's training on algorithms, it's making predictions based on data. These can be like predictive analytics, recommendation systems, automation, maybe spam filters, that kind of deal. Next is natural language processing, where this is focusing on the interaction between computers and humans. These are chatbots, translation services. The next one here is computer vision, where we're interpreting data, making decisions based on visual objects. So this is facial recognition, object detection. And the last one here is robotics, right? Where we've got AI that can perform tasks autonomously or semi-autonomously. These are things like industrial robots, maybe that vacuum cleaner you got running around your house, or maybe a drone that you fly on the weekends. So this helps us kind of frame what the capabilities of these AI models are, which helps us understand the risks that we're going to encounter with these tools. Now, I do have some good news here when we think about these. A couple I'm going to highlight here in the yellow is these here are still theoretical and research based, right? So let's take away some of that uncertainty we have of what these AI models can do. So far, they're not human-like intelligence. They're not self-aware. We've got some time yet until we get to those levels of AI. So we're not quite yet to Cylons or Jarvis or whatever AI overlord of your choice you want to think about. We're not quite there yet. So we don't need to worry about and plan our strategy and risk quite yet around that level of AI. All right, so let's look at some general AI risks. And I think this will help us maybe formulate our plan a little better. And if you're not considering these in your risk models, now would be a good time to start adding these in. So I'm going to break these down on a couple levels. First, we have contractual AI risk, right? So what does that mean? In our engagements with our customers and clients, we're signing master service agreements. We got SAL documents. We got outside counsel guidelines, whatever it might be. And that's telling us what our clients and customers are expecting us to do, not only from a service delivery standpoint, but also with the data that we're entrusted with. Often what we're seeing in these contracts documents is that customers and clients, they may be telling me yes or no about what data I can use within my AI model or where I can keep that data. Now, if our customers are telling us, of course, we need to keep track of that contractual risk to how we use AI and come up with a plan of how we're going to manage our customers' expectations. Next is a regulatory risk, right? With any new technology, we're going to start seeing laws that apply to how we use that technology. This is no exception when it comes to AI. I happen to live in Colorado, and Colorado recently passed an AI law. And that law dictates to businesses how they can utilize AI and automated decision making. So one factor that we've got to consider in our general AI risk posture is, okay, what do the laws say I can or cannot do with automated decision making, right? And of course, there's going to be other factors that will come with time, but certainly that's one that we've got to take into account straight away is what does the law say I can or cannot do when it comes to AI automated decision making? Now, next is a privacy risk. Certainly, this is adjacent or maybe similar to regulatory, but it's a bit different in that we're thinking here about personal data, PII, PHI, personal financial information. Many of the states and countries that have privacy laws already, there's clauses or breakouts in there that say you have to inform consumers of any automated decision making you're using. Of course, that's going to include AI. So one of the things that we need to keep track of with our general risk is that privacy risk. You know, how do I disclose to my consumers, my users, my customers, my clients, what automated decision making I'm doing with their personal data? And of course, what does that encompass with AI? So I need to have a way to accommodate for that. And of course, with privacy laws too, we need to have a way to accommodate the exception of that consumer or customer says, hey, I don't want you to use my data with any AI model. Now, this list is not comprehensive or complete by any means. Certainly your business may have some other items here. You may say, no, these don't apply to me, Daniel. But the point here is we need to consider the AI risk, not just from an operational risk perspective, but from a reputational risk perspective, right? Moving from that IT mindset of tasks and operations to, hey, if we get this wrong, what's the brand damage to our company, to our business, if we're not handling our AI usage in a way that we're expected to? Now, some other general AI risks. And these are, like I said, a bit more operational that I want to focus on now rather than reputational. And I'm going to use the CIA triad, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, just to focus this and maybe get a little bit more organized for us. So when it comes to confidentiality risk, you know, a couple of things that pop up in my mind immediately, right? And this is what I hear from a lot of folks like you who are trying to figure out what do we do with this AI journey as we go through. And one of the common questions I hear is, you know, where does my data go? If my data is going outside my four walls, so to speak, who and what can see my data? Often we're going to get the best answers to these questions when we talk to the vendor of that AI model we're evaluating, right? Hopefully, and I would expect, and maybe if they can't answer the questions of where does my data go, who can see my data, if they can't answer those questions to our comfort level, or in risk management parlance, our tolerance level, maybe we need to look at a different vendor, right? Maybe that vendor doesn't give us that warm, fuzzy feeling that, yeah, I trust that you're handling my data safely. I need to go look at another model. And of course, part of that that we'll look at later is, you know, is the AI learning off my data or not? That's another question I've got. So integrity risk, right? Again, does my data train the model, right? That's one of the questions we've got. And adjacent to that too, if it's not learning off my data, how is the model learning, right? What are the methods that this vendor of this AI solution is using to train the model, make it bigger, better, faster? And the reason we want to know how the model is learning is because that's going to affect any biases in the model that we might need to consider that might affect how we utilize the tool, how it changes, the responses we get, uh, how that might, of course, affect our delivery to our customers or clients when we're using this AI model. We'll talk about biases later. But the next category here, of course, is availability, right? Here, we have to be careful of how we balance AI in our operations, right? What we don't want to encounter is that we've completely leveraged this AI tool to the point that uh, we're over reliant on it. And if we lose access to this tool or goes wonky or stops responding in a way we expect, our business and operations grind to a halt. So one thing we've got to be careful with these AI risks, general AI risk, is let's keep our reliance to a point where if we've got to maintain operations without the tool, we can do it. Even if that means, going back to pen and paper, as it were, right? We've got to have a way to move forward and not become over reliant on these AI tools. And as we're thinking about these, it kind of triggered something in my mind of, in our past life, so to speak, when we had the great cloud or software as a service migration that we started, seems like many moons back now, but we had a lot of the same questions then, right? Where's our data going? How's our data protected? What's the availability like? And what I recall from that experience and looking at it in the future now from the past is we got to a place where we were comfortable, right? That we made it through to the other side, if you will, mostly intact. We had a good understanding of how we're going to leverage cloud and SaaS solutions. So if there's a little bit of comfort in that, I think the same thing will happen here with AI, and that we'll find a way to mitigate and manage these risks to a place where we get comfortable, and we're going to be able to use AI in a safe and secure manner. All right, so now that we've talked about some operational risks and we've talked about some reputational risk, let's talk about how we're going to use this AI model. Now, again, this is not going to be a complete or comprehensive list of some ideas of how we're going to use it, but based on how we want to use the AI, that's going to maybe change the risk profile for us, and it's going to raise different ideas of how we need to manage and mitigate these. So one model that we might choose to use AI for is generation of a service, a product, a deliverable, something where we're giving something over to our clients and we're leveraging the AI tool to make that as part of our business process. So a couple of questions here, and these are not so dissimilar from what we've seen in the past with the general AI risk. But first is, what data am I giving the AI model, right? Am I just giving it a template that's my boilerplate, so to speak, for how my report, marketing content, whatever it might be? Am I giving it something general, non-specific? Or to get the best use out of the tool, do I have to give it something that maybe is confidential, right, to my clients or customers? Or maybe it's something we don't necessarily want getting out. And so adjacent to that too, right, is, okay, I've given it this template, I'm giving it a prompt, where is that prompt going? Is it staying in the four walls of my business, so to speak, or is it going outside to the vendor? Or maybe is it even going past that vendor to some fourth party, right? Now, the last thing here is the response accurate? Certainly the last thing we want to do, leveraging any new tool, AI included, is we use it, we get some result back, it returns, hey, Daniel, here's this fancy new document, let me know how it looks. And we start checking it, we're like, man, this just does not match what we expected, right? How do we decide, is the AI really doing the best work for us? Or do we need to adjust how it's working? Or no, this AI model just doesn't work for us, we need to look at a different solution. Now, another method of leveraging AIs could be automation, right? Maybe we're automating some sort of service or product deliverable, whatever it might be in your business. And again, some of the similar questions, but slightly different way to ask them is, what access does AI need to enable this automation, right? Generally, when we think about automation, we're expecting something to happen without any human input, right? So maybe we need to receive a payment against an invoice. Maybe we need to repeat the order that the customer last ordered. That's what the customer wants to do. They want to come in and say, hey, send me what you sent me last month. And the AI assistant needs access to A, see what the customer ordered last month, and then B, place the order for this month, right? So what access does the AI system need to take those actions on our behalf? Now, similarly here, where is my data going? If the AI tool has access to those systems, certainly it's got access to that data. Is that staying within my four walls, or does it go outside? And does it go to the vendor? Does it go beyond the vendor to their third parties or fourth parties? And then similarly here too, one question we've got to ask and raise is, how do I check his decision making? Right? Is there a log? Is there some sort of way to confirm that yes, the AI took the right decision or it did not? So this is something we've got to raise with our vendors to say, hey, I get it, we're going to automate this task, but I've got to be able to check its work, right? I've got to be able to review its homework, verify that it took the right action. I need some sort of log that shows me what decisions it took along the way and how it arrived at that decision. So we talked about some general risks now. We talked about we're going to get AI whether we like it or not. So let's start building a team and a plan. One of the questions I often get asked is, okay, Daniel, I got it. We need a team. We need a plan. But first question I've got, Daniel, is who the heck needs to be on this team? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas. And again, this is not a complete or comprehensive list. Your list may look a little different than mine today, but let's see what makes up my list. First, IT. Probably not a surprise, right? A lot of these applications, we're going to expect IT to make sure that AI service is available, that it's got the access it needs, that it can perform in a reliable manner as we expect it to. So probably no big surprise. We've got to have IT at the table at our committee, team, whatever you want to call it in your organization. But we've got to have IT, no question. Next is security. Probably also not a surprise for most of us, right? We need people like me who are at the table, and we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to ensure that we're meeting all the elements of our plan, right? That we're building in security from the start, that, as we're starting to develop a plan, a strategy to leverage AI, that we're meeting our own expectations, but we're also meeting our clients' and customers' expectations. Now, the next group here, also probably not a surprise, data privacy, right? We talked earlier about some of the personal data that we might have in the solution, or confidential data that we're getting from our customers or consumers. Again, probably not a surprise here that we want data privacy here at the table, at the team, be at the stakeholder table, so to speak, and ensure that the data that's entrusted to us, that we're leveraging with this AI tool, it's well protected, it's meeting all the expectations, the regulatory requirements, privacy law requirements that we've got, making sure we're using AI in a safe and secure manner. So who else do we need at our stakeholder table? Customer service. Now, some of you might be saying, Dana, what the heck does customer service have to do with an AI strategy or management plan? Earlier, I spoke about we might be automating tasks, right? And the other side of this too is that our customer service folks, they're often first to hear from our customers and our clients, what's working well, or maybe more often than not, what's not working well. So when we think about automation of tasks, our customer service folks, they're going to be kind of front lines to say, hey, we're hearing a lot from our customer that, when they place an order with us, things are broken, right? And we need to unstick that. Customer service folks are going to be the first to hear or identify areas where, yeah, we could definitely use automation to leverage this, or maybe some content generation. Now, another group we might want to consider is operations. Now, this could be, manufacturing. It could be warehouse folks, whatever it looks like in your business, right? Or maybe it's down to folks putting things together. These folks, again, especially if we're thinking about automating tasks or even building content that we're delivering to our clients and customers, they're going to be the first to see where we can leverage AI to improve our operations, make things better. They're going to be the folks that hear from your customers that, hey, this could be better if we did X, or this could be better if we did Y, or we don't need to focus on this, it's fine. right? So this talking to operations and customer service are going to get us that kind of front line of what do our customers expect? Where can we leverage AI? Now, the next group I'd bring to your stakeholder table is outside partners, right? Now, this could be obviously your AI vendor as one of your outside partners, right? Maybe your IT provider, maybe even security folks like myself and Secure IT 360. These folks are going to help you with uh, acquiring the model that you need, implementing it, understanding your objectives to make sure, hey, we expect the AI to do this. Here's how we can do that. A lot of this is shiny new technology. We probably don't have the resources in house to leverage it fully, and understanding all the ins and outs that we're getting ourselves into. So leveraging outside partners to either build that model, make sure it's secure, make sure it's available, is keeping your data confidential. Those outside partners can definitely help you meet your objectives and keep your data safe and secure. Last group I've got here is customers. Probably not a surprise since I was talking about operations and customer service, right? We want to bring our customers in at some level to our stakeholder table because it's their data, their expectations that we have to meet, right? All of our businesses strive to make our customers happy, give them the product, the widget, the service, whatever it is that we're providing to them. They're going to tell us, hey, these are the sticky points when I engage with you. Can you maybe automate these things to unstick it, right? We don't want to implement an AI system for billing support when our customers really don't care about paying the invoice faster. They just want more product out faster, right? So hearing from our customers, bringing them to that stakeholder table will really ensure that we're focusing our AI strategy, our management plan on something our customers expect and something they want to see us enable or get done better, faster, smarter for them. All right, so now that we've got our team together, we've got our stakeholders, our committee, the folks that we're going to talk to at the table. And again, your group might look a little different than my group, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong group for this. But let's talk about where we might use AI, right? We touched on that a bit for a moment, but I'm going to break this down into a couple levels. First is maybe we want to be better at as a business, right? Maybe we want better predictions on our sales, purchasing, inventory, and manufacturing, whatever it might be that we need to optimize in our environment to provide a better service to our customers. Maybe this is task automation, right? Maybe we do need that automation and billing support where our customers can come in, pay that invoice a little faster, smoother, easier, or maybe it is that order support where, hey, I just need to order what I had last month, and it automates the task out for the customer. Maybe we want to be faster with AI, right? Maybe we do want to leverage those chatbots to get the customer what they need faster, right? If there's some sort of self-service functionality that I can provide to my customers, maybe that's going to make them faster with getting some sort of custom content out, right? Maybe I've got the same template that I use for content that I provide to client A and client B and client C, and I just need to plug in some specifics to get that model back, to give me the template back out. And now my development time for that custom content goes from, maybe 40 hours to 10 hours, right? It's not going to go to zero. Nobody's going to expect that because we still got to check it and verify the work. But certainly we can gain efficiencies, reduce that time to get customization content out. And of course, with chatbots too, we can start to automate these things so we start serving our customers better and faster with AI. Now, we all want to be a little smarter, and that's no exception when it comes to AI. And maybe this is another way where we should use AI, right? Maybe we want to be faster and better and smarter with our research, right? Most of us in the information services, we're looking up stuff all the time to give the best recommendation to our clients. What we can use AI for is now to say, rather than a super high level recommendation, we get down maybe to more depth or granularity, getting that customization back to the customer. Rather than just giving some basic information on how to do a solution, now maybe we make it a bit more custom to that customer, that client, so they get a sense that, yeah, we really know what we're talking about, because we do, but elevates it a level, gets it more granular and specific to that customer. Perhaps we want to get really fancy, right? And we want to do some sort of object recognition, right? Maybe in our documents, pictures of videos, we want to look for things that maybe us as humans, we might miss on our own. Leveraging AI to pull that content out to get a better, faster, smarter deliverable service, widget, whatever it might be to our customers. That these could be some ways that we leverage AI. Now, again, your list for better, faster, smarter might be different. But the point is, once we've got our team together, we need to figure out where we want to use AI, right? We're not gonna be able to do all these things, certainly, but there's gonna be areas that we wanna focus on and areas that we don't wanna focus on. So leveraging that team and building a plan of how we wanna use AI, that should be one of your first steps. All right. So when it comes to managing the risks, I've got some general ideas on how we might manage these risks. I've kind of broken this down into a quadrant. And again, your list might look a little different. This is the list I'm just going to work off of for today. Now you can see in the middle here, this is a cycle, right? I want to encourage you to review these risks on a regular cadence, just like we do with any other risk management program, right? Just because, well, a couple of factors, but one factor would be that these models are changing often, right? And so we can't just assume that the risks that we evaluated last month, last year are the same risks that we've got today, and we've got the same mitigations available to us. Now, this plan here around managing these risks, this might be one of your key takeaways today of maybe how you can organize and strategize. And I've got some ideas here we're going to talk through around mitigating some of the risks that come with these various domains. So let's start at the top right here with governance. Now, I know what you're thinking, Daniel, nobody wants another policy or procedure, right? We just don't need more policies and procedures in our lives. We've got too much of it already. I hear you, friend. I hear you, and I completely and violently agree with you. Nobody necessarily wants more policies and procedures and documents in their environment, and I get it. However, there are some advantages to having policies and procedures, right? The main purpose that I want to strive for you here with governance is we want to ensure everybody is playing from the same sheet of music, that we're all running from the same playbook. What we can see from time to times, and AI is no exception, we get shadow IT, right? We'll get shadow AI as things come through. If you've not already seen it, you're going to. We need to ensure that everybody's working from the same sheet of music, right? We all understand the general risks. We understand who's involved in our strategy, and we know, what we want to do with AI, how we're going to use it. So I get it. Nobody wants another policy document they've got to manage. Maybe you don't need to call it a policy. Maybe just call it's our AI plan. It's our strategy, AI strategy. If policy brings up too much bad mojo in your environment, just call it something else. But the important thing is we want to work from the same sheet of music, same playbook to make sure we're all aligned. So of course here, right, that strategy, right? That strategy document is going to help guide your business, guide your users, guide your stakeholder team, your committee of how we're going to use AI. Another element you will absolutely want to ensure is encompassed in your plan is training. We're going to talk about training in a moment, but just stick a needle in that, hey, our users are first on the line to use this AI tool. We want to make sure they're well trained on how to use it and what to do with it and what is not expected to be done with it. Now, the next quadrant here is privacy, right? We've talked about that earlier, right? Often as businesses, we get a fair amount of personal data, right? PII, PHI, personal financial information, whatever it might be that we're getting from our consumers, even the users of our platform, right? Maybe we get some sort of personal data from them. Now, of course, we got to protect this. And I've got a couple of ideas here of how we might protect the privacy of data that's going into our environment. First is DLP, right? Data loss prevention. Many of these tools have some sort of web-facing prompt where maybe you could put a DLP in front of that to monitor the prompts that are going into the platform and say, hey, this looks like PII. Of course, with that DLP, you've probably got the option to reject the prompt or maybe confirm with the user that, yeah, this is or is not PII, or you're sure you want to put this data into this platform. So putting our DLP tool, these are proven solutions. DLP is nothing new, but certainly this is a way to prevent and protect our users and protect the data that's going into these models, looking for that restricted data, ensuring that the data going into it is safe. So consider maybe putting a DLP between the user and getting to that AI tool. Now, another method, and I know audit is a little bit of catching the horse after it's left the barn, but auditing will give you that assurance that your users are using the tool responsibly and safely. It will give you some way to, when that customer or client comes and says, hey, I know you've been using AI, Daniel, show me your evidence that my confidential data is not going into this tool. Well, audit's a great way to do that, right? We need to audit the prompts that are going in, audit the data that's going into this solution. Yes, I know it's a little bit, the horse has already left the barn, but it does help us ensure that we've got a way to prove that our controls are working, or we identify where, yeah, our controls are not working as expected. We're going to need to revamp or reconsider how we do these controls for data entry. Now, another element here that we want to consider is confidentiality, right? This is similar to privacy, but I've got a couple of ideas here how we might protect the confidentiality of the data that's going into our AI tool. Again, not necessarily a new idea here, but what we want to consider is, can we anonymize the data going into the platform, right? Do we truly need to know this is customer A, B, or C to get the predictive model that we need, right? Do we need to know that consumer A, consumer Daniel, consumer Pete, consumer Bill bought these things, or do we just need to send it the order history to see where our data is going? And if we do need to be able to see that, how do we minimize it or anonymize it so we're not giving too much data to the platform as we're going through. Now, another way that we can manage the risk, so to speak, when it comes to confidentiality and of course privacy, is with the contracts, right? We can leverage in our contracts and transfer, quote unquote, the risk to the vendor. Putting that language that, hey, vendor, I expect you to not store my data any longer than required. You're encrypting it at rest. You're not storing the prompts or the responses from the AI model. Using that contract language to protect us will help us give another risk mitigation. Again, could be a little bit after the horses left the barn, so to speak, but it does give us some ways to provide confidence, maybe is the best way to say it, to our customers. Yeah, not only are we protecting your data, but also the vendors that we're using for AI, they're protecting the data that we're sending to them. Now, the last one here around data, right, is of course there's going to be data going into the tool, right? And of course we want people to access the tool, but maybe the first thing we need to consider is access control to the AI model itself, right? Again, not necessarily a new idea of leveraging solutions, right? We want to put access control. So maybe the first thing we consider is need to use access, right? Does every group, every department in my company need access to the AI tool, or maybe is it only certain groups, right? So we can put some of these tools in place really straight away, right? There's nothing new that needs to be developed for access control. For using SSO, hey, it's only these groups that can log in to see it. Now, another method we can use is the BYOM, or bring your own model. What we've seen with some customers is that they will go to the vendor, purchase whatever AI model that they want to use, and they bring it, quote unquote, into the four walls of their business, right? This is very similar to access control in that now with this BYOM, we can get very granular and specific on what the model connects to, what access it has, right? When does it get updates from the vendor for a new model? When we're bringing it into our four walls, we get that full control over how it's communicating within our network or outside our network, right? maybe you're in a high confidentiality environment and you need that additional control to ensure your data is not leaving your environment. So maybe you consider a BYOM model, right, to bring that into your four walls, quote unquote, of your business. So this could be in the cloud, it could be on premise, whatever makes the most sense for your environment. But the advantage here to using BYOM is I get very granular with how it's talking inside and outside my network to ensure I'm getting all the requirements I've got for the data I need to protect. So we've got some ideas here on managing the governance risk, the privacy risk, the confidentiality risk, the data risk, everything from, that policy procedure nobody wants all the way down to, pretty basic fundamental IT access controls and maybe considering BYOM. If you're going to get one takeaway today, this might be the one to kind of get you started on how we might mitigate the risks. Now, let's talk about guiding and training our users, right? And so the first question we want to answer for our users is, why do we want to use AI, right? We talked about this earlier with the stakeholders and bringing everybody to the table to understand how we want to use AI. This is that governance piece, that policy procedure that nobody really wants to use. And I get it, friends, I understand, but it does help us answer this question of why, right? Maybe it is that custom content, right? We need to train our users on why we want to use AI. And maybe one of the reasons why is we want to develop custom content, right? For our customers, our clients, we want to get that out faster, right? Maybe another thing that we want to use with AI and that we want to train and guide our users on is maybe we want to automate those tasks. And I think we have to be careful with the humans in our business, right? And give them confidence that leveraging this AI model is not necessarily to replace you, right? What we're looking to do is enhance you, right? Make what you do for your customers better, right? By and large, all of our folks want to deliver what our customers want. They want to make our customers happy. They want to see their smiling faces and their, wow, this is fantastic, great. So why do we want to use AI? Well, we want to make our customers happy. We want those smiling faces. We want that custom content out faster. We want to automate those tasks away from you that are really just bogging you down, right? Maybe we can automate a task away so you have more time to talk to the customer, get a sense of what they want, engage with them, and satisfy their expectations, right? Now, another element we want to guide and train our users on is, what data can we use? Certainly, there's going to be guidance, hopefully, of what is okay to put in our AI models. Obviously, if it's non-specific public data going in, we're probably not so concerned about it. But certainly, we're going to have cases where it's a no. You cannot put that data in the AI tool. In my experience, again, going back to making the customer happy, if we give our folks the why it's a no, it seems to smooth over the questions, right? And sometimes you're going to get challenged, and that's okay, right? Why is it a no? This could really help my client. And that's a valid question to ask. But when we tell our users the why it's a no is because that customer or client that you really love and you want to make happy, they've told us it's a no, right? So the reason it's a no is because your client that you want to make happy says we cannot put this data in the AI model. And now that they understand it's a customer expectation thing, it's not just Daniel saying no because he wants to be the department of no. They get that sense of, oh yeah, okay, I get it. I need to be careful what I put in this AI model so I meet my customers' expectations. Now, another thing that's very critical is, as we're using the AI, we've got to check it, right? We got to grade that homework, make sure it's meeting our expectations, doing what we want. First part here is we need to verify the results, right? If we're asking the AI model to give us a blue box with our customer's name in it, is that what we get back? Or do we get a green circle with our customer's name in it? Or maybe it's a completely different customer, right? But the point is here, we can't just take the response that the prompt gives us at face value and say, yeah, this is good to go. It looks perfect. We're going to ship it out right away to our customer, fire that email so they get the document straight away. No, we can't take it at face value. Most of us in the professional business, we have some sort of QA process, quality assurance or quality review, peer review, whatever it might be in your business. But we need to make sure that we can't just take it at face value, put our name on it, ship it out the door. We need to trust but verify that the results are accurate. There's going to be times where, yeah, the response doesn't quite look right, or I'm not getting what I expected. I need to adjust before I send this out and get this in front of my customer. Now, another thing we need to look out for is biases. And I alluded to this earlier, and I know I had to look this up because I fundamentally understand human bias, right? We all have that at some level. We're all biased in some way, in some fashion. And I was trying to determine, is this the same thing for AI or is it different? And by and large, we're looking for the same type of patterns or behavior in the AI model that we might see in us as humans. And fundamentally, what we're looking at here is for biases, is our AI model favoring one decision, one output, or another based on, the data it's been trained on, right? Or the data that it's learning off of. I've got a couple examples here. In healthcare, that might look like it's skewing decisions or results or predictions, maybe based on specific gender types. Where the AI model is, returning lower accuracy for one set of patients over another. Another method where we might see biases in AI is applications, right? As we get applicants to our business that we're hiring, we might throw their CV or resume into an AI model to try to find the best applicant, right? And it could be that, this AI model, because of the way it was trained, it's looking for specific words and it's bringing those resumes to the front. Maybe that's a good thing for us. Maybe it's not, right? And so we got to be careful with these biases for applicants, as an example. Another biases that we might see is image generation, right? This has been reported with some AI models where it favors one demographic over another based on the prompt that was given, regardless sometimes of what the user was expecting. It seems to be favoring one group or another. Similar things have happened with online advertising that, it's reinforcing one job or one type of gender group over another. So we've got to be mindful that these AIs, because they're learning on specific data sets, they might have inherent biases. We need to watch out for that. It's something that we've got to check, right? We can't just take what the AI model is giving us, slap our name on it, throw it out the door, send it to the customer. We got to verify those results. Again, this slide here is probably one I'd recommend be one of your key takeaways, right? Often we forget about the human side of this, right? We've got folks that are going to be using this model. We want to make sure they're aligned to why we want to use the AI, what data is acceptable, what's okay, and really give them the why it's not a no. It's not just Daniel in security saying no. It's, hey, your customer that you want to make happy, they've told us no, and that's why we're not allowing this type of data in our AI model. And of course, we want to check the AI, right? Verify its homework, make sure it's giving us the results we expected, look for those biases so we're not introducing bad habits into our business process. And of course, look for those in our AI models so we can start to train those out. All right, I did promise some more resources, right? You're certainly not alone when it comes to how do I build a framework, right? And what we've gone over today is a super high level of maybe some ideas to manage and mitigate risk, but there's a couple of groups out there who have, they're kind of ahead of the curve, much more in depth than what we got to cover today, but certainly NIST has got their AI risk management framework. ISO has a couple of standards. 42001 is certainly the new hotness right now when it comes to AI management systems, but it's not the only framework that you could choose from ISO. There's a couple there for machine learning, guidance on risk management, and of course, governance of AI by organizations. OWASP, my colleague Brad Causey, he loves OWASP. They've got an AI security guide and AI privacy guide. So, know you're not alone. Certainly don't build your entire plan around what I presented today. But what you're going to see in these frameworks is a lot of what I talked about today of having that high level plan of, hey, let's understand what type of AI we're using, what are the risks associated with how we're going to use the AI, and then how do we train our folks to use AI safely and securely. All right, so that's going to wrap us up for today. So just a quick recap of what we talked about. Uh, it's not an if, it's a when and how. How are we going to use AI and when are we going to get it? It's getting dropped into more tools and assistants and places that maybe we were not expecting. And then we also have that challenge of maybe we don't have a method to opt in or opt out. Maybe it's just, it's here. Daniel, have a great time, use the AI. We're not getting that choice of when and how to use AI. Next, we talked about some general AI risks, right? Around contractual requirements, regulatory requirements, privacy requirements, how we can use those, operational general risk, how we're going to use that AI. Then we talked about how to build a team, right? All the stakeholders, the team members that we need at that committee or table, so to speak, everything from IT all the way down to our customers, helping us build that strategy of how our business is going to use AI. And then we talked also about some ideas of how to manage and mitigate the risks when it comes to the governance of using AI, the privacy of the data that we're putting in their AI model, the confidentiality of that data too, making sure it's well protected. And of course, access to the data. What does the AI model get access to? And of course, how our users engage and work with our AI models. And we also talked about some more resources when it comes from, NIST, ISO, and OWASP. You're not alone. There's other smart people, way smarter than me, in fact, who are coming up with models of how to manage and mitigate the risk when it comes to working with AI. So quick note about me and Secure IT 360 before we close out here. I live near Denver, Colorado. I help clients like you do cybersecurity better. I can do anything up from vCISO all the way down to tabletops, and the list goes on. As for Secure IT 360, we help our clients do cybersecurity better as well. We've got managed 24/7 SOC. We've got pen testing services, forensic services, consulting and assessment. So well beyond what we talked about today with just AI. I want to thank you so much for joining today. I do hope you got a useful idea or two to help develop your AI program. I want to extend an invitation to connect with you on LinkedIn. There's the QR code or the URL there on screen. Please like, subscribe, connect, and so on. Let us know what you thought about this webinar today. Maybe what needs improvement, what was good, or maybe just what you had for lunch today while you were watching along with us. So thank you so much for joining. I'll stick around if there's any questions. Have a great rest of your day.